So we're recording now, and I don't have your email. Yes, I don't have your email, so...
Seeds.
So if you want me to email this to you, for whatever reason, you can write your email down.
No, let's find that out. What?
Okay,
Can
so...
I ask you a quick question?
Yes.
Can I ask, do you mind me interrupting for 2 seconds?
No.
Rosemary, what's in the pate again?
The pate?
What's in your hand there, in that bowl?
Okay.
Please, try.
That's okay.
It's a labor-intensive salad. I would never make it if I didn't work here. So this is what's in it. Sunflower seeds, which you have to start the day before and let them soak, and then you pulse them, and then you soak them overnight, and then I squeeze them through cheesecloth and get all the water out of it, and then I put it in a potato ricer with cheesecloth and squeeze the last bit, and then you're ready to use it. So what's in this is the sunflower seeds, onions, beets, carrots, parsley, cilantro, ginger, yeast, brags, lemon juice, miso, sesame seeds, flax seeds, and red cabbage.
Yum, yum. Thank you. Sorry.
Quite medicinal. Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Cool. Groovy. So I'm not sure where I left off.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Some of your massages. Good food in,
Right.
bad food out.
Exactly, that's the protocol.
Is cabbage green food or
Well, okay, so the greener the better. The greener just means more chlorophyll. So what are the darkest greens? Things like kale, blue-green algae, things of that nature. So what I was talking about, we started talking about how all of this is serving our neurological health. So the reason it's a whole lifestyle protocol, like the diet is one of the foundational core elements, that you couldn't do all of that without this. Because when you're living with this diet here, again, everything is working at its most efficient and elite level. And it really is astounding that you can do that. But you know, one of the reasons you can do so much hiking is because that is what the human body adapted to over 200,000 years of the hunter-gatherer lifestyle. It's really something to learn, a way that many people come here and they're just like, whoa, I had no idea that was even possible with no rest days at all. This program is very enlightening in a way. You're going to go home, and I think the most enlightening thing about this program is just because you feel so different at the end of the week. You're like, whoa, I had no idea this is possible. That you didn't know before that you were just sort of at your sort of average status quo level. And that gives you like a desire, a willingness to just keep integrating bits and pieces of this lifestyle into your own, where before it kind of felt more like a discipline. It's really quite exhilarating. And so again, that's why I want to give you the few key pointers, and also just help to better enable you all to just reflect on the big picture here, so that you go home with these things as a part of your lifestyle. So, does anybody want to fire a question? I'm going to make sure I cover a few things about fats in your diet and balancing.
Is there a name? I'm sorry, I came in late. Is there a name for what this diet is? Or you can...
No. I know. See, there are so many different diets in the world where, like Paleolithic diet, the Zone diet, the 80-10-10 diet, and the people who devise these diets, they say, this is it, this is the one for everybody. No, my God, are you kidding me? Every body type is so vastly different that, I mean, how do you think Eskimos would do on brown rice when their bodies have adapted to just eating whale and mussels for the last 40,000 years? You know, they subsist on whale blubber, and Balinese subsist on rice. And again, every body type is so different. And the interesting thing today is that in our country, we just have just like this melting pot of all these different genes and diets. And so you just gotta figure it out on your own, really, and it can help to work with some kind of health professional. But really, I am confident that you have sufficient just health instinct embedded in your genes, that once you start integrating more of these plant foods into your diet, you're going to have a particular liking, obviously, for some foods. Like while you're here, I really encourage you to, when you have a meal where you're feeling like, I love that, then integrate it, make it a part of your own diet a couple days a week. Okay? And you're going to have what I like to call a little bit of a palate shift, again, where you're rousing your body's instinctual wisdom of what plant foods are best for you. Your tastes are going to shift and change, and you're going to, I am confident also that the other more processed foods that have wear and tear, like too many processed grain products and wheat flour. I'm going to turn this off. I know it's a great soundtrack, but I'm just going to do some DJing here and turn it down. But we're going to lose our taste for things that just make us feel not our greatest. Processed sugar, of course, being one of those. Fried foods, unhealthy fats, too many processed grains. It's processed grains.
Yum.
But we're going to talk about sugar. Well, sugar. It's such a complex subject to the world, but I'll tell you it isn't. Law of human biology. We have a sweet tooth. You have to. You have to have sugar to feed this. Sugar burns instantly and produces glucose, brain food. Okay, carbs can take hours. And so, how to keep your sweet tooth happy? Fruits. Go with the elite sugar. Preferably the elite fruits. You have, like berries. You have fruit a couple times in your day, you're keeping your sweet tooth happier. And that when you're at like a dinner party or something and there's processed sugar around, you'll be less akin to like just totally pig out. You might have something, but because your body isn't craving those sugars because you've already been keeping your sweet tooth happy, you're going to see that you're less inclined to do that. Does that make sense? Cool. And processed grains, like all the bread, crackers, all the natural, low-fat chips and snacks, cereal, we got to cut back on those. They just don't have the nutrient content, obviously, that these foods do. And that starchy foods, just processed grains, don't satisfy. They do not satiate. Pasta, for example. You can eat a huge plate of pasta and assuming that it's just regular marinara sauce, you're not getting much nutrition, and you're not getting nutrients, and you're not getting fat. And that you can eat till you physically feel full, but you're still craving. Instinctively you're craving fat. That's why we eat ice cream often as a dessert. That it is nutrients like I talked about that satiate your appetite, but also fat. Fat satiates your appetite more than anything. If you eat 100 calories if you had 100 calories of olive oil versus 100 calories of bread, you would be way more satisfied for much longer on 100 calories of olive oil. It's just way more satiating. And like I mentioned earlier, fat and carbs are both fuel. They both do the exact same thing. And again, the advantage of fat, assuming it's healthy fat, and we're going to talk about that, the advantage of fat is that you're satiated on fewer calories. So again, we're integrating nutrient-rich, low-density plant foods, but also healthy fats, and you're going to find that, again, you're just satisfied on fewer calories in general, and you have more energy to do more exercise. It's quite brilliant.
You look so healthy.
Well, thanks. Thank you. I can't,
I see the white of your eyes. It's
oh, good.
Is that what we'll all look like? With that
Even
bright?
after being up all night last night, I still look okay.
Yeah.
Right.
It's the food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, it's the whole lifestyle. Yes, it's food, but man, I'm telling you, the exercise is just as important. That diet, you're putting the nutrients in. Exercise, you're pumping the handle to get those nutrients and oxygen-rich blood to every cell, to every neuron in the body. That's it. I'll tell you, the best exercise, hands down, no question, hiking. Again, that's the exercise that the body adapted to over 200,000 years. It's the perfect amount of wear and tear here, where sure, it's wear and tear, but it's the perfect amount where your body responds by saying, whoa, we got to build sturdier joints. That's good. How important is sturdy joints, a skeleton for our longevity, right? Hi, I'm Billy. We're just doing some health nutrition Q&A.
I mentioned a couple times when you were vegan and then you went back to the meat.
I know. I'm a creature of extremes. I just sway back and forth. What can I say? Nice to see you. Good.
Hey, Billy, everybody eats 3 meals a day.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
It's a good thing to talk about, man. I'll tell you, the reality is most people in this day and age have 2. Like, people have huge amounts of stimulants and maybe something little in the morning, which curbs your appetite until lunch. You eat a huge lunch and then a huge dinner. No, it's a disaster. I feel that it's best to have smaller, more frequent meals. And 3 I consider to be a minimum. You would have more meals here, you have a couple snacks, but it just wouldn't fit into the schedule with all the hiking and exercise you're doing. I think 4 or 5 meals, just smaller, throughout the day is ideal. Like, why don't we just go through what I feel is the ideal day sequence. Feet hit the floor in the morning, boom, chug a glass of water, 8 to 16 ounces. First thing, just simple water. You can squeeze a lemon in there if you want. Just water. Gotta hydrate. Things have kind of slowed down because your body dries out. You haven't had any water in 8 to 10 hours. Then, I think hot drinks are cool. The body does cool down at night, so if you like having a cup of tea or whatever, that's cool. If you have caffeine, that's okay, but it's good to cap it at 100 milligrams. That's 1 cup of coffee or 2 tea bags. More than that is wear and tear on your adrenals, and if you need more caffeine to keep you going, then you just need to do some nutrient replenishing to give you the life force. And the cool thing is you're hitting the restart button here, so when you go back to your lifestyle, cap it at a cup. And if you get tired, either take a nap, 30 minutes, lay flat on your back, because when your heart is on the same level as every organ and function, your body's much more able to quickly get to feed everything, to energize it. But you just need more nutrients, really. Remember, nutrients are life force. So a hot drink in the morning is cool. I'm a fan of making a smoothie a breakfast. Here you have your concentrated little shot of greens, which is great because you're just getting that blast of nutrients first thing in the morning. But I think a smoothie is great because I like to make a meal out of it. It's a meal where it's not just bananas blended up. Sure, you have your natural sugar in there. Keep your sweet tooth happy. It's good to have some natural sugar first thing in the morning, especially just because you need fuel right away. You don't want to just eat a big meal and then you're a little tired because it takes time for the body to burn that up into fuel. So smoothie, I like to put a piece of fruit in there. I like to put some protein fats like whole yogurt or almond butter. Put the nutrients, put your greens in there, and now it's a well-rounded meal. And it's cool also because it's easy to digest. It's a liquid meal. Your digestion's just getting riled up. It's good to give it something easy to digest first thing. And then I think eggs are a brilliant food. I know that may raise some eyebrows. They're a part of your diet here, and the body has evolved with eggs in most cultures around the world for hundreds of thousands of years. And just a quick note about eggs. I know they're high in cholesterol. They do not affect your cholesterol. It's actually saturated fats that raise your cholesterol, and we're going to talk about the whole fat thing. But eggs have less than 1 gram of saturated fat. That's nothing. So that's a bit of a hypnotic spell, that cholesterol in eggs raises your cholesterol. It does not. Again, I feel eggs are a great breakfast. 2 reasons. They're easy to digest, and they're easy to digest. They are. They're a very easy to digest food. Grains are okay, like healthy whole grains. Whole grain cereal, natural cereal, most of that stuff is a disaster because it's processed grains with natural cane sweetener. That's just another name for sugar. They're just disguising it. I mean, here, oatmeal serves a purpose just because it's good to do a little bit of carbo loading with the intense amount of exercise you're doing. But for most of us who aren't walking 10 miles right after breakfast, I think it's good to do more protein fats like eggs. That's why I feel eggs are such a perfect food in the morning. And then lunch, I'm a fan of middle-of-the-day foods being more carbs and fats, not so much protein. That's why I feel soups and salads are the perfect middle-of-the-day food. You're going to have some soup tonight. I'm confident you're going to love it. It's not just a bunch of floating vegetables. It's really thick and hearty and has some healthy fats in there, and it's a recipe that's very easy to make. And then dinner, I think that's the time to have animal protein. If you have animal protein in your diet. I mean, it's best just to have, if you have dense protein in your diet, like animal products, best to save that to the end of the day. Protein is not fuel. It does damage control. It's a restorative food. And when is your body doing most of its restoration? When you're asleep. So a big protein meal can make you tired. That's why people don't have like a big steak for dinner, or for lunch. Yeah.
But don't, elite athletes will often have protein right after working out to provide the building blocks.
I totally
for
agree in
muscle repair.
that philosophy. So that is a good thing. I mean, if you're living that extreme lifestyle where you are doing extreme wear and tear in your body, then it's good to do extreme amounts of protein. It just is law of human biology. But and animal protein isn't bad, but to keep your energy strong and solid all day, I mean, it is good. In general, I think it is important for in general, people to cut back on animal protein. While it is awesome protein, digesting animal protein ain't easy for the body. Metabolic waste does accumulate, and quite frequently it is just a small amount of wear and tear. So go for the elite animal protein, stuff that is free of antibiotics and things of that nature, lean, and just less of it, right? So I've said a couple things about fats. We should talk about fats. Remember, we want to integrate more healthy fats into our diet and cut back on all of these starchy foods that just don't satiate. So overall, we're going to be consuming fewer calories. What are the healthiest fats? And this is a really important one, actually, because unhealthy fats have more wear and tear on the body than anything. So the elite fats, well, there are two categories: unsaturated and saturated. Yes, you have to have some of both. I remember the whole disaster was back in the 90s when everybody said, oh my God, all fat is bad, all fat makes you fat. Well, back then, those fats, being low grade, were actually making us fat. They were cooking our thyroid. That what happened is people figured out, wow, we can actually create oils for pennies, hydrogenated vegetable oils, and replace more expensive oils like butter. And instead of using expensive olive oil, we can create cheap canola oil, safflower, sunflower oil. And that those oils, when processed, do break down in such a way it produces a kind of free radical that when we eat them, it affects your thyroid, and it sets off that ripple effect. Your thyroid is damaged, and then your metabolism goes down. So what we need to do is really just make that switch to the elite fats, which in general, so for unsaturated fats, and what that means, unsaturated fats, I mean, it's basically just liquid at room temperature, where saturated fats are solid at room temperature, like butter, coconut, hydrogenated vegetable oils, palm oil, cacao oil. It's good to have both. Yo, what up?
I thought I might as well interrupt and remember oil. That's where you guys were. My name is JJ, John Joseph. JJ's easy to remember. And I'll be hiking up to Thursday, Friday, today, some body work.
Groovy.
Good to see you, everybody.
Good to see you, man.
All right.
All right. Did you tell him that you also do the clothing optional breakdancing and the yoga dance? It's blindfolded. Don't worry.
I was just gonna say maybe could put.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh man.
That's what I was saying.
I'll third the motion. It's true.
They think we're kidding.
Anything is possible. I was gonna come in here and just say I could maybe run 100 miles because of what I've confirmed with this guy.
Oh,
and the substance of
that's quite a
his
claim.
ingredients.
I don't know, 100 miles. That sounds.
No, but the weekend I had, not to dwell on the past, but to be present with you guys. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Thanks.
And the dancing, yes.
So, yes. So you got to have both unsaturated and saturated. The elite unsaturated I would consider to be olive oil, raw nuts and seeds, and avocados. And
You sprout your seeds?
so sprouting nuts and seeds is basically just soaking them in water, and they do become more digestible and just better for you. So if you like nuts and seeds on your oatmeal in the morning, soak them in a glass of water overnight, strain them, and then put them in there. So, yeah. Did you all get some almonds today? Those are sprouted.
Only from a hiker, participating hiker.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
No, they'll be giving out some almonds this week. They're almonds that I make, and they're sprouted. I soak them in water, and then they go in a dehydrator to dry them out again. They're not roasted, they're raw. And so the point I was going to make is it's important to have your unsaturated fats, again like olive oil, raw nuts and seeds, unheated, raw. That they're very akin to break down under heat. I know the Italians cook with olive oil. Every body type is different. They seem to get away with it. But in general, it's best to cook with heat-stable fats, heat-stable oils, which I consider the two elite to be butter or ghee and coconut. And again, I know that may raise some eyebrows. First of all, we said all fats are bad, and then we were like, no, wait a minute, they're essential for our survival.
So butter is heat stable, huh?
Well, the reason butter can burn is just because it has small amounts of protein in there. It's the protein. So the difference is ghee is just butter oil. The butter is boiled at a low temperature and then strained to remove the residual protein, so it's just less akin to burn under high heat. So anytime you're doing baking, stir-frying, cooking eggs, whatever, in general, overall in your lifestyle, we're not talking about being super hardcore here, we're just talking about just overall in your lifestyle, use heat-stable fats, which are saturated fats. Again, use the elite, and that you do need to use them with some degree of moderation because too much saturated fat, even these healthier saturated fats, can raise your cholesterol. Assuming you're active, then 1 to 3 tablespoons of these saturated fats is not going to affect your cholesterol. Now, there is a category of saturated fats that can jack the heck out of your cholesterol, and that is animal lard. That's why with animal protein it is best to go lean. I mean, sure, have a hamburger once in a while, but sausage and bacon every morning, that ain't great. So,
You sure?
pretty positive.
Okay.
How about on the hamburger?
Ooh.
Bacon
That
burger?
cancels itself.
Right, exactly. So the reason fats are so important is they satiate your appetite to ultimately prevent you from overeating. They are burned as fuel. They don't make you fat. They're important for fat-soluble nutrients. That means pretty much every nutrient is fat-soluble. What that means is fat needs to be present in your diet as a catalyst for your body to absorb that nutrient. You could be getting massive amounts of everything, but if you don't have fat in your diet, it just passes right through. Really important. And then the other thing, the most important reason for fat, that's what this is made of. And this just degrades without more fat to rebuild itself. Major wear and tear. That's why when we went low fat, everybody got tired and cranky. And fatter. So it's true.
It's a combination.
It's true. It really is true. So.
We won't do that.
Good.
I'm convinced.
Groovy. Well,
So, Louis, one last question. The greens, the nutrients in the morning,
mhm.
you put them in a smoothie. Don't you have to have some fat to help facilitate the
Yes, that's why I'm a huge fan of using whole yogurt and or raw almond butter, some protein fat, something with fat in it. And with dairy products, use the whole thing, absolutely. Just less of it. The whole stuff and less of it. That remember, we thought all saturated fat is bad, so that when we went to all these low-fat milk products, it shouldn't even be called low-fat milk. It should be called lactose concentrate. You know how everybody's becoming lactose sensitive? Why? It's because we're all drinking lactose concentrate. The best part of dairy for your health is the quality of fat for this. That's why kids love dairy, because their brain is building so fast. So give your kids whole dairy, please. Okay, fine. If you have some degree of heart disease and you love dairy, use a little bit of low-fat dairy, but better is just a little bit of the whole dairy. I know coconut is cholesterol free, but any saturated fat, even coconut can raise your cholesterol. But like in Asian cultures where they just have a massive amount of coconut products, it's like heart disease just doesn't exist there. India, where they have a ton of butter and ghee, just isn't.
I've never heard of ghee. What is that?
Eskimos don't.
Butter.
Yeah,
Oh.
so that it's just butter oil. It's all
Is it
the.
a stick?
No, it can't. It comes in a jar.
I've never heard of it. How do you spell it?
GHEE, and it's been around for a long time. It's really kind of comes from India and other Asian cultures where they revere it to be where they revere it to be somewhat of a superfood, like something that, and it is. I know that this is tough for us to grasp just because we've been living
Mr. Brad,
a nutrition
I'll be to the
protocol.
chateau. Okay.
Cool.
What's your opinion on fish oil supplements?
That's a great thing to talk about, and I've been thinking about the whole fish thing quite a bit. It's a tough one because while fish has been the number one animal protein in the human diet all over the world, and the body has adapted very well to it, you're welcome, man. It is not a pure substance like it was.
Fish is not a pure substance?
Not really. Ocean fish, and then the way most freshwater fish is grown and or harvested. Hi.
Hello.
Oh,
Yeah.
what's there?
I am recording this. Pretty sure. Did I do it right? Yes. I did.
But fish oil
We're only 30
supplements
minutes.
that are definitely mercury free.
Right. So, another
Okay.
I really do revere algae as somewhat of a miracle substance. Like I talked about it being somewhat of a portal of life for planet Earth and also life force in our body. They make an algae oil supplement where it is comparable to fish oil,
Oh, interesting.
and you can get it in like a gel cap form. You can also just get it in a liquid form where you just take a dropper full, but it tastes so disgusting, it's ridiculous. But it's pretty cool. It's just made from algae, and you can get it at a natural food store.
Where does
Yeah.
the algae come from?
What kind of algae is it?
Where is it? Is it from the United States?
It's grown. It's grown.
The
And
algae farms?
yes. And what kind of algae it is, I'm not sure the name. I mean, there are thousands of different kinds of algae, and some of them are toxic, and then some of them are amazing food that have been in the human diet all over the world for thousands of years, like spirulina, for example. So, yeah, with animal protein, it's all about just going with the ultra elite, lean, pure, no antibiotic, grass-fed, preferably. Yeah, and just less of it. We're really lucky, and that it's what makes that so possible, especially in this day and age, is that now we have such a vast array of plant foods and grains available year-round, which even 50 years ago in the winter in most places around the United States, it was just meat and potatoes and sauerkraut. And so we're really quite lucky. General law of nature, it is better in the cooler seasons to have more warming foods, cooked foods, soups. It's good to still have some raw fruits and vegetables, but then in the warmer season, more raw fruits and vegetables, that they're cooling for the body. And the point I was making, coming full circle, is that now we have just more plant foods that have protein, and also protein supplements, protein powder. You get a little shot of protein powder in your morning green drink. So that's cool. Just go with the elite protein powder. It's all processed, but organic, preferably vegan organic. The milk protein, whey protein, it's a processed dairy product. It's hard to digest. It makes you sleepy. It's constipating. It ain't great.
Whey.
Yeah, whey protein, milk protein. So, and soy protein, that can mess with your body's chemistry. So, yeah. I don't want to. They're all right. They're sort of like they're sort of an average nut or seed, not bad for you. I would put like peanuts at the bottom end of the totem pole. Cashews are a protein fat. Have them raw. Those oils and cashews and all nuts and seeds are heat sensitive. Roasted nuts and seeds, again, setting off that ripple effect, interfering with your thyroid function. So, yeah.
What's at the top end of the nuts?
I would say at the very top end, things like flax seeds, chia seeds, almonds, macadamia nuts. Any other ideas? Let's see.
Walnuts?
Walnuts are cool. Definitely a brain food.
Pecans.
Pecans are they're all right.
Mm-hmm.
They're all right. So pistachios are good.
What does cauliflower do? Is it?
It's a cruciferous vegetable. It's good to, I think, have it cooked in soups. It's not a particularly nutritious food, but it's fiber. It's a high water content food.
Is it high sugar because it's white?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I can't say I'm an expert on that one. But potatoes, not so great.
Yeah.
Sweet potatoes and yams are cool. Sure. Definitely.
But I couldn't tell if cauliflower is kind of like a potato or, I couldn't
It's
figure it out.
It's not a potato. It's a cruciferous vegetable like broccoli.
But
Broccoli
nutrition-wise,
broccoli has way more nutrition.
What about artichokes? They're great, aren't they?
Can't say I know about
Yeah.
artichokes. Sorry.
Okay. It tastes good. I love artichokes. Yeah. And
Well,
my kids love artichokes.
that's your body's
Just go
instincts.
with
I
it,
mean,
yeah.
it's a plant food. It's green.
Yeah.
I'm fairly confident that artichokes are good for you.
Okay. Yeah. I think they
Corn, I put at the very bottom end of the totem pole. As you know, there's no such thing as organic corn on the cob.
are. I did not know that.
It took a lot of genetic modification to make it soft and juicy so that you could just bite it off like this. Corn, organic corn, is like a hardcore grain where it's dry and you grind it into a corn flour, and then they made tortillas out of it. And popcorn, you can get organic popcorn. Not that organic popcorn is great for you, but it is digestible and it is fiber, where corn on the cob is not digestible. It makes you tired. It's high in sugar. If you're visiting some relatives in the southeast, I say just eat the dang stuff and don't have it be a regular part of your diet.
Northeast has pretty good corn.
Oh, do they? Okay. Yeah, I guess we grow corn everywhere now. So. I feel like we just packed in a vast amount of stuff for 30 minutes. I've been talking 50 miles an hour though.
What about that whole juicing thing? Where you use juice.
Yeah, man. Fresh veggie juice is awesome because many raw plant foods, vegetables like kale and broccoli, they're a little hard to digest. It takes some major chewing. And juicing them, you're extracting like the nutrient-dense, chlorophyll-rich part of the food, the best part of it. I think it's good to still have the whole food just as a regular part of your diet because of the fiber. What? It's a cruciferous. That's okay. It's okay.
That's an excellent question.
It's cool. It's not like extremely nutritious, but it's a cruciferous vegetable. It's high water content, good to use in soups and things of that nature. It has some minerals to it, not so much in the antioxidant realm, but it's cool. Well, broccoli is just a more nutritious food. Peas are cool. Peas are rad. Peas are
Susie's
great.
coming to do some sort of demonstration, so I assume she's going to go over juicing.
Oh, okay. Cool, maybe. I think juicing's rad. Personally, I'm not so much of a juice guy myself. You know what I'm a fan of? Just throwing the whole veggie in the blender. And not just the veggie. I'll put like some spices in there, some olive oil, squeeze some lemons.
So it's like gazpacho?
Well, you can blend it up into soups, sauces, pestos, dips, dressings, all of the above, just depending on what you put in there and what thickness or consistency you make it. Like some of your meals here, we're gonna make like sauces, just out of throwing like raw spinach in the blender with lemon juice and olive oil. Simple. It's so simple. No chopping, no other preparation, and I like it because if you're putting lemons in there, especially, you can make a lot and then stick it in the fridge, and then you have it all week. I'm a big fan of blending raw veggies into dips and sauces, and making and also doing cooked soups. Huge fan, because you can make a big batch and you have it all week. Makes life easy, especially when you're a single dude.
Do you have a Vitamix?
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of having a good high-power blender. Like, we use Vitamixes here. That's what I have. They're a very worthy investment. They ain't cheap. They're like $400 or $500, but they last forever. And it's vastly superior to like your kind of standard KitchenAid blender. Yeah, so they're great.
They blend everything, as opposed to,
Yeah.
you know, sometimes make a smoothie and it's like, you still have almonds in there.
What's the name of it?
Vitamix.
Yeah.
It's really, and you can use it for everything from, you know, like doing the stuff they do here to
They have that.
all kinds of mashed potato. I mean,
Whole Foods was doing like a special on it. They made this almond ice cream, and they just chopped up ice, sprouted almonds, and some cinnamon, and
I made
it was great. It was like,
Mm-hmm.
that chops everything up. Yeah.
Cool.
They're powerful.
can I ask you about dates?
Yeah, you know, they are sugar. They have some nutritional value, but the way I look at dates and other high sugar fruits that don't have substantial nutritive value, those would be particular, like bananas, for example, other tropical fruits, pineapple, mango. I like to look at them as like flavoring. It's like, what are you having with it? And that actually, it is good to, when you have a piece of fruit, whether it's dates, bananas, berries, whatever, to have it with protein fat like yogurt. You know how everybody's kind of attracted to that? It's your body's instinct knowing that natural sugar and fruit combines really well with protein fats. If you just eat a piece of fruit, you're hungry 10 minutes later. It's sugar. But that when you have it with protein fat that really satiates, then it's more of like a small meal that will hold you over for an hour, 2 or 3, depending on how much you eat. And the other benefit is it regulates the blood sugar somewhat. Having a banana by itself, high sugar, blood sugar goes dunk, dunk. And that having it with yogurt makes it a more sort of sustained
And what about
energy.
prunes?
Prunes are cool. Definitely good for the gastrointestinal system. You'll be getting prunes here. Yeah, rad. Totally great. But again, have it with some protein fat. Like, we'll be giving you prunes with some of these sprouted almonds here. Kind of makes it a nice little well-rounded small meal. It's surprisingly satisfying when you have the two together. So.
It's shocking the energy it gives you immediately.
Yes.
When you're struggling on the trail,
It's
you
true.
get 4 almonds and a fruit.
Yeah.
Within
Hey,
two,
I got 4.
within,
You only get 1.
within 2 minutes, you can feel it. It's like, wow, I'm rolling again.
I sprout buckwheat, so I sprout it and I dehydrate it with sunflower seeds and
Yeah.
almonds, and then I eat that for breakfast with like either almond milk or butter scrambled.
Cool.
I don't really do dairy anymore,
Mm-hmm.
but and then maybe some fruit in there. I mean, is that really wasted calories, or am I wasting my time doing that?
No, I mean,
Oh, yeah.
I wouldn't say I wouldn't say so. Buckwheat's out of all
With
the.
eating salad for breakfast, which is something I do sometimes. No,
Well,
seriously.
That's fine. The reason many people aren't attracted to salad for breakfast, well, 2 reasons. Salads are cooling for the body. Most people like warming foods in the morning, and then also raw vegetables are hard to digest.
Yeah. But you could do smoothie and then salad for breakfast.
Sure, but grains like buckwheat are cool. Oatmeal. Okay, so there are some good grains to have in your diet in moderation. I'm not saying you have to cut grains out entirely. We just want to go with the elite and less of. So that would be quinoa, brown rice, buckwheat, rye. Yeah. So, like, if you have grains in the morning, just make sure you have it with some protein fat in there. Like, if not milk, just raw nuts and seeds.
Yeah, I usually mix it with. Ready, Jeff?
I'll see you at 5:10.
Okay, 5
Yeah.
or 10? Which one do you want?
Oh, 8.
Okay.
No, I'll be ready.
All right.
I'll see you soon.
No Brian today. We have JJ.
Oh, I kept saying, where's Brian?
I know.
I like I live in New York and I like that hot oatmeal every morning with berries is what my standard.
It's cool.
thing.
But if you don't necessarily need to have protein fats. Remember, the most important thing is good quality fats. Put a pat of butter in there, or a scoop of coconut oil. It's good to have in the morning. It's important. It really is. Make sure you have some healthy fats in the morning.
How are you feeling about beans? Because we don't eat a lot of meat.
They're hard to digest. You
Yeah.
know, they make you gassy.
So
They're okay though.
and we
They're
just used to be
nutritious.
okay with them.
Yeah.
But so what do you replace for, like, before you started eating meat again? What was your protein? I know that greens have a lot of protein, but you got to eat a lot of them.
Right. I mean,
So
personally, I do quite a bit of protein powder myself,
Protein
just to
powder?
cut back on protein because my body needs a lot of protein. Just does. It's just in my genes. There's a hunter-gatherer gene in there that I do need massive amounts of protein. I still have meat in my diet.
So do you use like pea shoots? What do you use for protein? Whey, or do you use
I actually have a protein product, not to brag about it or anything, but it's a sprouted brown rice and hemp.
Yeah, that's what we have a sprouted brown rice hemp pea mixture.
Oh, cool. Yeah, it's cool. Totally.
But it's supposedly
I mean, it's a processed food, so you're not getting nutrients, but it is a protein concentrate and just made out of simple plant foods. It's not imbalancing to your body's chemistry like soy and whey and things of that nature. So, but beans are cool. Yeah, no, they're all right. You know, I'm not saying eat canned beans all the time, but beans, they're relatively easy to cook. The key is before you cook them to soak them in water overnight. So just put your beans in water in the pot, soak it overnight. You'll notice in the morning the water's all kind of bubbly looking, and that when you soak beans and nuts and seeds, it brings it to life a little bit. It's called sprouting. It just begins the sprouting process. That beans, nuts, seeds out in nature, they have preservatives in them, so that when it drops off a plant, it's just sitting in the dirt. Insects and bacteria doesn't eat it, and that when it rains months later, it soaks up all that water. It kind of comes back to life. It releases all of these preservatives into the soil around itself, so it can sprout and grow uncontaminated. And so when you soak them overnight, it does the same thing, and they become a much more digestible food. And if you're soaking beans, they cook much faster. So yeah, beans are cool. They're all right. I personally just don't eat beans myself. So otherwise, I'm not socially. Yeah.
What's your opinion of the whole gluten-free trend?
Well, that's a good question. People are becoming gluten sensitive because our system is just getting a constant trickle of gluten. Gluten is grain protein, and it's not in all grains, but it's in wheat, barley, oatmeal, and even some in rye. But wheat is just a massive amount, especially processed flour. It's just like gluten concentrate. And it's just hard to digest. It's irritating to your gastrointestinal system. And so not only do we have regular bread in our diet, or some people don't really have much bread, but there is wheat flour in everything.
It's a process.
Everything. Even in salad dressing, they put it in there as a thickener. All kinds of snack foods where it may not be much, but it's just the constant trickle. It's like the constant small amount is just irritating, a little bit of irritation, and that ripple effect, constant ripple effect, finally is like your body's like, stop, no more. And it's just simply weakening to your gastrointestinal system, so that if you lay off it for a while and do lots of dietary practices that strengthen your gastrointestinal system, and then many people can start having it again. But many people become so sensitive that they just can't really have it anymore, or it makes them tired and not feel so good. I don't think it's important to go gluten-free for most people. Again, there's gluten, small amounts of gluten in even some of the better grains like oats. So fine, have a little bit of bread in your diet, but just not all the time. And just go for, I mean, even all the natural salad dressings are, you're welcome. All the natural salad dressings are just disgusting. You know,
What's in the salad dressing today?
Oh, well, we make it fresh. We just put olive oil in the blender with ginger and lemons, and it's so easy to make. You know what? The best salad dressing, just douse your salad in olive oil. Olive oil is an elite food, law of nature, raw olive oil. You are never going to get fat. You cannot get fat on raw olive oil. Douse your salad, squeeze a lemon on there, sprinkle some Celtic sea salt, sprinkle some cayenne. It's freaking amazing. It is. Churn it all up. Sprinkle some nutritional yeast, and then it thickens it up, makes it really hearty. And all these natural salad dressings, they just, it's just cheap oils, canola oil, and they put sugar in there, and again, like a little flour is thickener, and they're disgusting. They really are.
What about vinegar?
Vinegar's okay. Is that vinegar, or is it?
It's like vinegar.
Yeah, I think it's
Balsamic.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. It's not good to have massive amounts all the time, but vinegar's all right. Yeah, but lemons I consider to be somewhat medicinal. So I'm always
Do you have an opinion about probiotics?
Yeah, so probiotics are like the building block of your gastrointestinal digestion. They are what really, there's a bacteria that helps to break things down to the finest level possible for optimum nutrient absorption. And it's, you get them in some foods, particularly fermented foods like sauerkraut, cultured foods like yogurt. And the reason it's become a little bit of an issue of people not having enough probiotic culture in their system is just from too much junk food, really. Yeah, so it's just wear and tear on them. They're like, oh my God, more wheat flour, are you kidding me? It's so hard, we're tired. They start dying off. And I think for some people, it's helpful to take a protein supplement. You're getting a good hearty amount of probiotics in your green drink. So that's cool. Never hurts to take more. So, but I don't think it's I don't think you need to take a capsule of it every day of your life. I don't. The whole supplement thing is interesting, which at the very bottom of the totem pole, I figured the very worst supplement you can put in your body, multivitamins. Disaster. Total disaster. I know that may bewilder you, but bottom line, none of those nutrients come from food. They come from mines. It's just artificial ingredients. That's all it is. And they've wrangled in just a huge customer base because they market their stuff as the silver bullet. 100% of every nutrient in this tiny little thing. Are you kidding me? First of all, the whole percentage thing is a joke. Everybody needs a different amount of certain nutrients. Some cultures don't have any of a particular nutrient in their diet, and they thrive. They do just fine. To get 100%, what they call 100% of every one of those nutrients, you would have to eat a whole table full of organic fruits and vegetables. It's ridiculous. Who makes those multivitamins? Pharmaceutical companies. Who are the people who tell you to take multivitamins? Doctors. It's a little bit of a twisted thing. I'm not talking trash about doctors. I think they're absolute geniuses, especially for diagnosing and heart surgery and trauma and all things of that nature. But people who you really want to go to for good health information about what you can do in your lifestyle, natural doctors, natural health professionals.
What about unfiltered apple cider vinegar?
Yeah, it's rad. Just alkalizing stuff.
So
Yeah,
it's good
apple
to
cider vinegar, good salad dressing, for
try
sure.
to take some every day.
Yeah, use it in your salad. It has a nice tang to it.
Okay.
It's good stuff.
Have you ever tried to take a shot of it? It'll kill you. It's so strong. A friend of mine does, and she's like, "Do it, you'll feel great." And I was like, and I'm coughing and spitting at her kitchen, and she really can do it with no trouble at all. It takes exactly.
Yeah.
So salad dressing is the better route, I'm sure. Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Well,
intense.
use it as a salad dressing.
Yeah.
Just put a little just a little splash in there. Mix it all up. Tastes nice.
Okay.
With salad, sure.
So what are the top fruits that you would suggest?
Berries.
Berries, any kind of berries.
Well, the more colorful, the more nutrition in general. It's not an absolute, but in most cases. So, yeah.
Good, love berries.
Yeah. Cool. Get your vitamin sunshine. That's another important one. It's really important. It's amazing. That activity, hiking in the hills, you get the most bang for your buck. One of the best activities you could, the best exercise you can do. That you're getting, well, first of all, you're getting cardio and load-bearing exercise all in one. I know we don't think of it as load-bearing exercise, but bear in mind you are lugging your body weight up and down thousands of vertical feet, and you're building the largest muscles in your body, your legs, your glutes. And remember, it's all about building muscle mass to keep your metabolism up here. And so if you live in a place with hills, do it. Do it a few days a week if you can. If you're in Dallas, then do stairs. Stairs are awesome. Hills are better because the ground is uneven, and doing all the different stuff is strengthening your stabilizers too. But elliptical machines, If you want to take the whole hiking thing or doing stairs to another level of actually like building body mass, carry weights. Again, something that the body adapted to over 100,000 years before they had backpacks and camelbacks and things of that nature. Carry water bottles. Gentlemen, carry 5-gallon water jugs with just 2 gallons of water in there. And it's only 17 pounds per hand, but it's sloshing around in there and strengthens your stabilizers big time. Carrying heavy...
on a treadmill or a stepper?
Stairs.
Hiking.
Preferably hiking. I know people might look at you like you're nuts. Stairs?
Yeah, it's like a stepping machine.
Well, I don't want you to hurt yourself, fall off because you're...
No, the step mill. It's made by Stairmaster.
Step mill?
It looks like an escalator.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
You have to keep climbing the stairs.
Well, it's that repetitive motion where, yes, you're working your main muscles, your quads and your glutes, but there are so many muscles, all kinds of stabilizers all around those. That's why walking on uneven ground is the best.
Yeah, you have to use it.
So, and not only are you getting all of this different exercise, you're getting your vitamin sunshine, and you're putting the most important nutrient in your body, O2. You know why you come back from that hike with a buzz? Well, I mean, you have your sense of accomplishment, and it's beautiful. But the number one reason you come back with a buzz is you have put the most important nutrient in your body, O2. It's the most important thing for this. That's why hiking, that's why exercise is so important. Remember, it's putting the nutrient-rich stuff in there and then pumping the handle. That O2, getting it up to your brain. I'll tell you, I talk about exercise as being the best exercise. Hiking being the best exercise. But the best thing you can do for your health, just cut to the chase right now. The best thing you can do for your health is to simply concentrate on your breathing. Not to sound like a meditator or a guru at all, but why is this so important? Why is this so important? It's because the human body now only breathes, in our Western world culture, the human body only breathes approximately 60% as much as it did several hundred years ago. And here is the physiological reason why. It's too many irons in the fire up here. We have part of the brain that does the thinking, part of the brain that controls your emotions, part of your brain that controls this voluntary or this involuntary function, your heart, part of the brain that controls this involuntary function of your diaphragm. And when you have too many irons in the fire, too much load on a certain part of the brain, other parts of the brain can atrophy, like your emotional part of the brain and the part of your brain that controls your breathing. It's a brain wave, and it atrophies. And the good news, your brain is like a muscle. You can train it, and it works better. And so not only are you getting O2 into your body as you are practicing your breathing? But you're training your brain to breathe more consistently. If you don't mind, just sit on the edge of your chair for a moment. And just simply reach through the top of your head. Reach through the top of your head. You're pulling your spine long. Relax your shoulders, though. Shoulders are relaxed. And what you're using all these muscles back here around your spine to just pull your spine long. That's all you're doing. And so you're probably sitting an inch taller right now. And you can do this exercise sitting or standing. Okay, now, just 3 deep breaths. It's not like 100%, but it's 80, okay? Okay, you can keep going if you want, but did you feel any small shift up here? Your body responds to oxygen like that, instantaneously.
Yeah, it's like a rush.
You can't go 2 minutes without O2. You pass out. And obviously it's not good to go to the other extreme of hyperventilating. But what you're doing, and here's what I challenge you to do. That's okay. That's okay. And you're going to do tons of breathing while you're here because of the hiking and because of the yoga. But I challenge you to this week, while you're in your room, to sit on your bed and do this for just 3 minutes. And you can't just breathe for 3 minutes. You'll forget what you're doing because you start thinking about what's coming up or what's going on back at your...
In the nose and out the nose?
Doesn't matter. However you want. And whatever frequency you wish. There's no one frequency that's perfect for everybody. Just whatever feels most natural to you. But breathing in deep and breathing everything out. That's it. That's the only protocol. And so here's how to do it. Sets of 10. Then it's easy to remember to keep going. So you do a set of 10. It takes about a minute. So you just do a few sets. That's it. 3 minutes in the morning, every day. You can also do it at the end of the day. You are training your brain to do a better job of that. It's the most important thing you can do for your health right then and there. And the reason I say to sit or stand tall, either way, it doesn't matter, is because you're creating more space here, but you're feeding your neurological system. This is half of your neurological system right there. When you're using all these muscles back here to pull your vertebrae long, you're creating more space between your vertebrae for all those veins and vessels to feed this. And you feed this better, and this does a better job of talking to this. And this does a better job talking to all of this through your spinal cord. And also, you're just pulling your neck long. So things can get through here a little easier. Does that make sense?
It's instantly calming to my whole system.
That's part of the brain. That's part of what the brain... You have a calming part of the brain. That's its job. And everything works better. Everything works better. It's the highest impact thing you can do. Sure. Just once. Do it once. I try to... I concentrate on it for a little longer. But then throughout the day, sometimes I'll just kind of catch it that I'm not breathing very much, and I'm just like, whoa. And then I just try to concentrate on it more throughout the day, and you get better at it to where you don't have to concentrate on it, but you'll notice you're just like, man, I am breathing better. You know how when you're like sitting at your computer and you're focusing really hard and you're working hard and you don't want to stop, you're just stubborn, you're like, I am doing this right now, and then all of a sudden you're just like, that's your body's little response there. Your body's like, enough. And right away, I mean, we're not taking inventory, but right away you do feel a little better. You just took a burden off because you fed this. 1 breath, boom, you feel better. 3 breaths, boom, you're going to feel it. 3 sets of 10, you're going to feel it. So that's again a brilliant side effect of hiking hills. And also you're getting your vitamin sunshine.
It does feel good when you get back from there.
Yes. I'll tell you the most important things you put in your body.
The first 15, 20 minutes are the hardest. It's like you're stale. And it just,
right.
We talk about it all the time. It's just, you're struggling. And then finally,
feed endorphins.
Yeah, you get to a point and it's like, okay, I'm going to be okay.
Yeah, man, you've been feeding your body the O2, and we talk about it like warming up, but you're just O2ing up. And again, you are feeding this. That's why you feel it so quickly here. It just responds almost instantaneously. But this is controlling all of this. So a healthier this and all of this works better. It's pretty astounding, really, and it's just one of the big models of life that is seldom forgotten. We just don't pay enough attention. We're all more attached to the data.
Right.
Calories, how long you're exercising, what you're doing. Yeah, it's all important. Those are all the details, but we need to step back and maintain the big picture. That's kind of my expertise. And one other nice side effect of being out there, like I just mentioned, is the vitamin sunshine. We need to talk about that. So we've covered it. The most important things we put in our body: greens, O2, water, and sunshine. Those are the 4 things that produce life, essentially. That we wouldn't have this skeletal frame without the sun. We would be just a bunch of jellyfish. That it's the sun, the photons, the particle of light interacting with tannins in the skin that produce vitamin D that are absorbed into the bloodstream that make our skeleton. And that a disaster scenario is using all of these skin care products where they're really just skin wear and tear products. That all of these skin care products now have SPF. They all do. And sure, you are protecting your skin from radiation. If you're out in the middle of the day at the beach in your bathing suit, use SPF. You are protecting yourself from sunburn. But you need to get bare skin outside, under the sun, every so often. Not necessarily every day, but more than like once a week, more. And the way to do that is to be out in the morning and late afternoon when the sun is lower on the horizon, within an hour of sunrise or sunset, because it's traveling through the atmosphere at an angle. Harmful rays are filtered out and you're not going to get a sunburn. You're not getting harmful amounts of radiation. You're getting your essential vitamin D. You can't get vitamin D in a supplement. You just can't. You're taking this massive amount of vitamin D and what you're absorbing is nominal, definitely not 100% of what you actually need. And because you're taking an artificial ingredient, it's wear and tear in the kidneys.
What about calcium for women?
I think it's really important to just go for high calcium food. That calcium supplements come from coral. You're welcome. And it ain't easy for the body. It can accumulate in places where it's not supposed to. That's one of the main damaging factors in multivitamins is people are getting kidney stones. I mean, you see what, not to gross you out, but you see what color your pee is after you take a multivitamin. And your kidneys are doing some hardcore filtering. And unquestionably some of that stuff accumulates in your kidneys. And calcium too. And so the whole thing is, fine, if you have some kind of serious injury, use the particular supplement you need for a while. But phase it out once you really just are recuperated at least to some degree that, preferably you're just shifting a massive amount of high calcium foods into your diet. Like, definitely leafy greens. Sesame seeds, chia seeds, massive amounts of calcium. And it's all totally bioavailable. Again, those are foods that the body is adapted to over thousands of years, and that calcium is wonderfully extracted.
I've never had chia seeds.
They're in your green drink, actually.
I didn't know what, just in terms of form.
Right. They're tiny. They're like
Poppy
a third
seeds.
the size.
Would you say they look like poppy seeds?
They look like poppy
Chia?
seeds. Yeah.
And then you put them in yogurt on the salads.
Yes.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Really good for you.
So for your digestion.
In the morning, if I'm going to have my whole yogurt, I'm going to have my blueberries and put some chia seeds in.
Brilliant.
Okay, easy.
Will you be happy because it's not hot? Are you going to miss not having a hot breakfast?
I have my hot tea.
Okay.
I do kind of full cold day if I still like my
I know that's hard to go cold. That's hard. The breakfast smoothie is hard for me because
Right,
of that.
In the
right.
summer, it's
Well,
fine,
and that's
but-
part of the
Yeah, in the
reason that
summer
we
it's
don't do a smoothie here. That we just give you like the green shot, where it's
Uh-huh.
just mixed in water. It's not a cold drink.
Mm-hmm.
So that's definitely a thing to consider. Is that this time of year the body is less attracted to smoothies, like cold drinks with fruit.
Mm-hmm.
So that if you have greens, just shake it up in a water bottle and down it, and then you're just getting a concentrated nutrients, and then have a more substantial meal right afterwards because you're not getting really any calories. It's not going to satisfy your appetite, but boom, you're getting the blast of nutrients, and then have your yogurt and blueberries and chia seeds, or have your eggs and a slice of rye bread.
Do you strain the green drink when you make it? The one that we had this morning.
So all that green drink is these different plant foods like blue-green algae, stinging nettles, chia seed, nopal cactus. It's just all these different foods dried.
Comes in a powder.
It's just dried.
Oh, it comes in a powder.
So
Yes.
you don't have to.
Oh, I'm not doing the
Mad
stuff in
scientist.
there
No,
in
no,
my
no.
vitamins.
No.
Okay.
So
No.
all of
Okay.
these ingredients are just dried, and then it's ground into a fine powder that you mix in your drink, whether it's just your water bottle or a smoothie, and then we also have it in capsule form in the tea cabinet if you don't like drinking your green drink in the morning. So
Okay, so that's the powder. Okay. I was telling them, are you familiar with the CLEAN program? Are you
No.
familiar? It's Dr. Younger. I'll have to find out more information. But anyway, it's this cardiologist, and he does a cleanse, and it's called the CLEAN program. But anyway, he does my husband's doing it right now, and I did it with him last year, and it's really great, but it reminds me a ton of what you're saying. So it's a lot of the same concepts.
yeah, I think doing like a week detox program of some kind. I mean, there are particular herbs that are especially akin to pull toxins out of your body, where they aren't herbs that you can take all the time. It's just you can do like a detox period, like the. Personally, I used to do hardcore juice fasting detoxes. And then I would go right back to my retox lifestyle. And so over the years, my lifestyle has evolved. So it's just kind of like the detoxing lifestyle. And I don't feel a need to do the heroic detoxes anymore. I think they serve their place. But I'm more driven to just like do the lifestyle that has the constant cleansing effect where, I mean, the toxic stuff never really does build up. That's my whole philosophy now.
Yeah, that would be good for you. So what's in it? The C, your version?
Have you heard of camu berry? Camu berry. It's 3 berries: camu, acerola, and amla berry.
Okay.
And they're just dried and ground into a powder. Yeah.
You gotta mix it up well.
What was that one?
Yeah.
The cedar. I had some this morning.
Oh,
Yeah.
Is that new, Melanie? I don't remember
No.
that. You've had that for a little while?
Yeah, no, it's been around a long time. So it is hard to mix because it's such a fine powder that it clumps up, but you can also just put it in your water bottle, and if you give it a really hard shake, then it mixes perfectly.
You grew a beard.
Huh?
You grew hair.
Well, I every once in a while just shave it off, drink.
Totally off subject. Truth Eye, have you been in touch with him, Tim?
I saw him last summer.
Okay.
And that was great. I
When you
saw
went
Truth
home?
Eye and Aradhana. Yeah, they're in North Carolina.
Right.
And they're doing well. Life is good for them. So, yeah, I haven't heard from them
You went back
in
when
the
you
last
saw
6
him.
months or so. Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
doing
So you
school?
keep in touch?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah. I
Just-
wrote him like a note 2 weeks ago before I came, and told him that Brad and Christine and Renee and Dave were coming, and hoped that I had heard from him before I left. But I suspect he'll write me back.
No. Yeah, they live in North Carolina, though.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I have his address.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. But you were asking if he was going to be here?
No. Not
Oh.
if you had more current information than
Oh,
we
I
did.
see. Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
No, I have his address.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So I'm confused on how you use these two different products.
Oh, well, this is just specifically for the immune system, so it's more like a need when you need to use it.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, this has some vitamin C,
Okay.
but
I
if
see.
and
This
when
is
you ever
more-
feel something coming on, this
It's
is
like
like
emergency.
yeah, exactly, but made from real food.
Got it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
What
So-
omega-3s and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you know, we touched on the fish oil thing, and not the funny thing is every body type is different. Some people's genes just their bodies didn't you know, their ancestors, their relatives, their bodies just never adapted to fish in the diet, so it's like hardly necessary for them. But most people, I think some essential fatty acids, omega-3s, are a good thing. You can get them from flax seeds, but not the same amount of concentration that you get from fish. But I mentioned earlier the algae oil that you can get in capsule form. That stuff's amazing. It tastes disgusting, so get it. I would say get it in capsule form. You can get it in liquid form, but it's hardcore. I can't even really. I mean, you could put it in a smoothie and then it wouldn't taste so bad, but
More protein.
Otherwise, it tastes pretty bad.
yeah.
He was,
Yeah. So I think that you can't really compare the level of purity to what you're getting from algae versus fish. I don't think you can. I mean, the fish thing has changed. Just the level of purity of fish oil has changed. It's a tough one.
I try not to eat too much meat.
I think
Fish.
Yeah, I eat a lot of
I know. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. You can definitely go for fish that isn't from the ocean or isn't farm raised. It's harvested from some other freshwater scenario where.
Farm raised bad because of what they give them.
Yeah, I mean it's a mixed scenario. I'm not aware of the different kinds of farm raising techniques, but it is known that most of them are quite bad. Like for example, farm raised salmon that they actually call Atlantic salmon, that it didn't come from the ocean. If it comes from the ocean, they call it wild crafted. Or excuse me, wild caught. Yeah.
wild salmon.
Yeah, and then if it's farm raised, they call it Atlantic salmon, and it's a gray meat, and they actually add food coloring. It's a wild piece of information that nobody knows, but it ain't great. It's not good stuff.
Unnatural.
Yeah, so I know our bodies are attracted to fish. It's the most common animal protein in the human diet all over the world, always has been. So again, I do feel that stuff like this algae oil is filling a bit of a niche. I think it's brilliant, and I think it's good also just because the fishing industry has just had too much wear and tear on the environment. And I know all animal protein does to a degree, but especially just fishing in this day and age. And it's tough because it's not like you can say, all right, no more fishing on planet Earth, because it's a key ingredient for so many economies out there, and you know, many people that's the only food they can get. So it's a tough one. It is. I don't have a perfect answer for that one. So, not to say that all fish is bad. You know, I mean, your liver filters stuff. I say just have it less frequently and try to have other plant proteins and algae oil. It's a worthy supplement. It really is. If you feel attracted to fish, see, I don't. I don't feel like my body needs omega-3s so much. I really don't. I've taken hardcore amounts of omega-3 supplements to see if it would help my health because I had a whole brain injury thing, and it didn't have any effect. Other stuff had way more impact for my health.
So what meat protein do you eat?
I personally just have bison. And I like elk and venison, but those just aren't as accessible.
So what was the other one?
Elk and venison.
But you primarily eat bison.
Yeah.
Did you hear that?
Only when he shoots with an arrow.
Yes.
We've started
When
eating
you
a
go to
ton of
Montana,
bison
you
too.
get it, right?
Yeah.
Is there a Ted's Montana Grill here?
I don't know.
There
I
is
don't
in
know.
Nashville, and
Oh, really?
they have a ton of bison.
Uh-huh.
But we've gotten my kids to eating bison, and they really like it.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah.
It is. It's good stuff.
It's great.
It tastes like beef.
You feel better after you eat it versus if you have a steak. Excuse me, because I really don't eat. I barely eat beef, but then if I eat a bison hamburger or something like that, you don't feel just gross.
No.
You're never tired or too full or any of those things. What were you going to say? That's bison.
I'm gonna go to the hot tub.
What do they do? Do they just come get you when it's time for your massage?
Yes. So you don't have to worry
What's
about
the plan?
Yeah.
Billy.
So
Huh?
page your
Are
number
you just
2.
with the talk and then
Yeah.
when do we have water? Do you know?
Oops.
It's getting pretty
Two?
soon, right?
Yeah, in an hour.
In an hour?
Or,
So I'm
let's
after
see,
Brad,
3:30?
So it's kind of late.
3:30, I think.
So they'll
Maybe
find
3.
you.
Maybe
Well,
4.
you'll probably be in the pool, and they'll come and
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, we did good.
Nice to see you.
We went for a good hour and a half. We packed a lot of information in.